True. Okay, so if you guys are ready, I think we are about ready. So what we'll
All
do
set here.
is we shall bring this gentleman up behind us here, um, and we need to switch over to that one, Dom, if you can, on that one.
We're trying.
No, that scene that you're on there, that should be fine. That's one up the top. We should be able to do that one.
Easy.
There we go. Now we'll bring him in. And guys, give another Q Corner Convention hello and welcome to Chris Adamo.
Can you hear us,
Hey,
Chris?
I can hear you loud and clear. How are we all doing?
We're,
Excellent.
Well, actually, I
we're
know the
doing
answer
good.
to that question. We've been talking for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Shooting the
But
breeze.
I still feel like I got to ask that question live.
It's really funny, Chris,
Good.
because we get all these in the background when we're not there. When there's other instructors on and things, people keep saying, "Oh yeah, the boys are gonna go and sleep now" and everything like that, and it's like, Chris, were we sleeping in
No.
the background?
Well, do you want the real answer or?
Oh,
No,
how
no, no, no. I have no idea how you do it. Absolutely no idea. If I don't get at least 7 to 8 hours sleep, you don't want to see me
Per
whatsoever.
year?
You guys
Per
are.
year.
Honestly,
a
it
month?
it kills me. So the fact that you've had 3 hours or something, like cumulative, like together,
Yep.
an hour and a half each.
Yep.
Yep.
And I
It's
think that's
only
I
being.
have
just
noticed.
begun.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You got to check yourself with those jokes though. The quality does sort of
It
have
started
one of
low.
their own peak.
What we're hoping is that there's enough people, because there's actually a lot of the delegates are staying up as well. A lot of the people that are watching
Yeah.
are staying up. So we're hoping they're just as tired as us, and delirium
Hmm.
just sets in across the board.
It's,
Hmm.
it's the playback that's going to be
Was there a
interesting.
competition? Was there a competition going for the most amount of hours logged as a
No,
consumer?
no,
Yeah.
because we couldn't
We
No.
really. Yeah, we'll win, so that's done. But yeah, we couldn't really do that because it'd be very hard to judge as well. So
Yeah, of course. Well,
yeah,
honesty system. Well, it
yeah.
won't be me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Sleep is too important.
Chris,
But I'm
Chris
going
is
to watch
out.
him. I'm going to play it back. I was in the shop today and I had it on just over there, and I think that's going to be happening a lot. All these videos are going to be played back and back and back. Just in the subliminal side of wherever people are working, kids of balloonies are going to be so sick and tired of parents having Q Corner on repeat.
Yes, it's
So
educational though,
hopefully,
right? It's educational.
absolutely,
We've got business skills
absolutely.
going on. You've got craft skills.
Hmm.
Yeah, you've got
Hmm.
marketing skills. Come on.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
All the skills,
Sleep.
bow hunting skills. If you get that reference, you win a prize.
Every day's a
Bow
school
hunting
day.
skills. No, I'm really
Right.
excited to share this next class with you guys. I had a wonderful time with David and Stu. Obviously, things like systems and business and the behind the scenes stuff was just the first thing I thought of when the Q Corner convention was raised. Who raised the anyway? And and I love when I have the wonderful opportunity to teach. I love working with balloons, and I think if you're going to be in a class, hands-on is everything, and that connection where you can walk around complete credit to those out here teaching with balloons behind the camera. It's very challenging. I think I scraped out with the easy classes.
Tactical.
But
Well,
all right,
well,
tactical exit. Yeah, no, smart.
just before we hand over, we're
Yeah,
about to share your desktop, so all that stuff that I can see on
yeah,
there,
good
you might
man.
want to get rid of.
Yeah,
Okay, and delete
cool.
your browser history as well. Okay, so we're going to hand you over
I
to
was
the
gonna. I
wonderful, the
was
very
waiting for that
talented
joke.
Chris Adamo, guys. Have fun.
Enjoy.
Cool. Thank you very much, Lee. Well, welcome everybody. This is a class I've sort of touched on once before, and I've added a lot to it since. It's something I'm very passionate about. Before I got into balloons, I was working in IT and web design, and I was actually going to be like a database administrator. Can you imagine me, a database administrator? Nope. But I got into web design. That was a wonderful creative outlet for me, and I've certainly brought those graphic design skills to my business and what we do. And I think it's really helped us grow as a business, and certainly with quotes and many of the different applications that I've learned along the way. So this 1.5 hours or 1 hour and 10 minutes, let's see how we go, is going to be just a quick introduction to what I do using graphical tools to assist my business. So ask questions. I think, however, because the last format, I had the opportunity to read some of the questions, and as I'm watching Dom and Keith take their headphones out, I'm also going to ask if you see any questions. Jump in here and ask me, because I won't have the opportunity to read as I did before. Maybe we'll have like a 10-minute question time at the end, but knowing the way I like to talk, I don't think so. So jump in if you see any questions, any new funny hashtags that might get printed on some leggings. Please let me know. Well, let's make that happen. Is anyone buying the hashtag Ask Reese leggings? Do we know that? I know I threw you in the. Whoop, that's okay. You can post. You can write about it. Okay, so well, no one saw that. Okay, so first we're going to do a slideshow. Anyone really, really excited for a slideshow? Get a thumbs up. Oh, there's a bit of a lag here, so I'm going to have to wait for that thumbs up. Who wants a slideshow? Thumbs up. Exactly. You're going to get a slideshow anyway. So, quick little thing. I'm going to show you. So, there's a thumb. It did take a while. I'm going to blame the lag. So we'll just whiz through this. Woo! Couple of thumbs, couple of claps. I didn't ask for a clap. Okay. So a couple of examples, real life examples that I've used in my business, and then we're going to see how I have applied those examples, not just the way I do it, but also ways that I think you all can do it at home with whatever software you've got. So slide number 2. Oh, there we go. So what are the advantages of digitally assisted designs, balloon decor? Well, from the customer side, it helps you, helps your customer to conceptualize a job. So I think that's a very, very difficult thing when you're on the phone, or even quoting if you do an on-site inspection, to get a non-balloon person, your customer, to understand exactly what you're trying to do. I think if they can see it, if they can feel it, if they understand, they can conceptualize what you are selling them, you have a much greater chance of actually getting that sale. Oh, Barry, good on you for the thumbs up. So the second thing, it gets your customer excited. So once again, if they can see that thing in place, right? So we were looking at a blank hall, a blank car dealership, whatever it is. But now we've overlaid that with some kind of computer or digitally aided design. You're going to get excited. And what we're going to talk about a little bit later on is offering A, B, and C, right? 3 or even more different options to perhaps what they asked about, in which they're going to get, maybe perhaps more excited about the more expensive one. But if they can see it, right, then they're excited about it, then all of a sudden that budget they first told you is actually not a hard and fixed budget. It's something that is a little bit more malleable. So, sets a level of expectation. Now, this is a really important thing, which I didn't quite realize was a benefit to this. But however, it just sort of dots your I's and crosses your T's, and it allows your client to realize perhaps it's not as big as they first thought. Perhaps it's bigger. Perhaps it's in the way of this door, or whatever it may be. That level of expectation before you get on site, before you start building. Or Beth, hold on a tick. We're going to talk about programs soon. We're just going to get through 78 slides, and we'll have 2 minutes later to get into that. So hang 10. So it sets a level of expectation, which to me just means everything. Quite often the client isn't even going to be there when you're working. And hey, where's Evie translating this? Come on, Evie, I need real-time translation. Now, and the other thing is, with that expectation, it eliminates any misunderstandings. So to me, that's really important. Another thing you can do, just as a little segue for Jag, is you can, and this is what I do very often, if the client isn't going to be on site, when you get there for your job, it doesn't matter how big this job is, send them a text. Send them a text or call them before you're even going to the site. But as you start building, send them a photo of the work in progress. We're really excited. Still lots to do, but I just wanted to, fill you in as to where we are now. So that way, if they see, maybe it's the wrong color, maybe it's the wrong shape or the wrong position, but most of the time it's perfect. So they're going to be really excited about seeing something coming to life before they get, because they might arrive 20 minutes before the event starts. So having a photo or a call helps eliminate any misunderstandings and allows you to quickly tweak it before it's too late. But that has nothing to do with this slide, this presentation. So let's look at a couple of real life examples. This one is one of my favorites, hence being slide number 1. It's a job. I really started to get into digital renders for my decor work around about 2016, 17, even though I've always had a graphical design background. I guess perhaps the jobs weren't significant enough, or I hadn't developed a system that was efficient enough to be able to pump these out quite quickly. Now, I appreciate, what about surprising your client? Yeah, Kobe, I appreciate that. It depends what the job is and what it's all about. I think we deal with a lot of event stylists and event coordinators, or it's the PA to the CEO, and they're in a highly stressful day, and they don't need any surprises. They're just looking for confidence and a nice calm flow. So this job here, client came to me. It was a Great Gatsby inspired event. And this is before we had chrome or anything. So all those balloons are stuffed with confetti. But so the client wanted something similar that we created, which I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. I'll just shout out, and in 30 minutes, I'll be able to see the delay if you can see my mouse on the screen. Probably not. No, I can't. So the slide on your left was something similar to what we'd done in the past. The slide in the middle was just me adding to it. The client didn't ask for that, but I was playing with a couple of different shapes, and the slide on the far right was completely different, of course. You can see this sort of, who knows what it is. People called it a jellyfish or a kraken or, just a blob. You see, it doesn't, oh, you can see my mouse. That's cool. It doesn't matter actually what that shape was, but the fact was it didn't even need a name. All you need is to see it, okay? And when the client saw that, their budget doubled, okay? And you can see the real life example below. It was just amazing. We had a video of a 360 view. We spoke about that in the business class with Dave and Stu. Videos, make sure you always take a video walkthrough of your events. But for the purpose of the slide, buongiorno. Okay, so I should stop commenting on the note on the comments there. It's getting me off my track. So slide 2, this is something we did last Christmas. So, big phone company in Australia, they came to us with no idea really. The boxes that you can see, the gift boxes, were the copy that they had for their window decals and their promotional material for that year, for that Christmas. And you can see more down here. So that was the foundation that I used it. You can see, actually, let's just zoom in a bit. Over here, this box that I made, that's using the Balloons Online design tool with the 6-inch quick link template, and we'll get to that in a second. And the rest is organics. So once again, there's A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh my God, this client wanted us, or we're going to talk about programs in a second, so hang 10. Wanted so many different variations, but it was a huge budget. This is only one part of the national promotion that we did for him. And to me, it was just a great way for us to communicate. Sure, it took maybe 2 hours all in all for, back and forward. But when we got there, it was late at night. We had to install it after hours. He knew exactly what he was going to get. And you can kind of guess what the design was from those two options when we made it. And it was one of my favorite jobs of the year because it enabled us. And this is another wonderful tip for all of those out there designing with organics. When you can integrate organics with classic decor, if you want to call this classic decor. Peter, it is not publisher Hang Ten. Hold. So, I love the clean lines that you get from framed, layered sculptures, offset, of course, with those curves and the organic texture. So just sort of going back a bit, you can see one of these. I think I pasted in this here in the middle at the top was the inspiration for that particular design. So client loved it. It enabled me as well. I was building it. You can see how the balloons hug underneath the Vodafone, become in the foreground of it here. And you can actually design based on, and we're going to get to this, based on your available rigging points. Now, how many balloons did I use in this? Well, this particular design, the way I did this in Illustrator, I had no way of quickly getting a calculation for stock. But if you want to jump in on one of my organics classes when we all start to get to tour again, I will love to talk to you about that. Or actually, here's a plug, if I'm allowed to plug, you can download a video on organics from someone online. So, advantages for you, for your business. Let's see if there's any other questions. No, we can keep on moving. 2:30 a.m. in Mexico City. Much respect. That is cool. Just wonder what that says. Doesn't matter. Okay, so the advantages for your business. Well, you can fuel your own creative process. This is, to me, is the best advantage. I can sit there in the comfort of it, being at home without even inflating a single balloon, and create the A, B, C, D options for me. Right, I'm doing that for my own creative outlet, and the client gets to check it out as well. So, based on the rigging points and the flow and all of the variables at play, I can sit around and just tinker. I mentioned before, you want to create, of course, what the customer wants. That's very important. You don't want to send them something that they haven't asked for. But then we can add 1, 2, 3, multiple upgrades on that first original design. And then, and as you'll see in some of the coming slides, you can create something completely different, right? Often when everyone keeps talking about time, you're putting me off my game. I know it's early. You can have something completely different. When I'm designing with organics, I'm up a ladder, physically installing, and often I will actually just flip it completely upside down just to say, what do you think about that? Because you just don't know. There's so many ways that we can, work with our art form. And art is such a wonderful expression that to completely challenge yourself, and in this case, your client, is definitely worth giving them that option. Okay, so next slide. Only 400 to go. Here we have a job that we did last year. I'm sorry, for a big racing event. So client came to us with, once again, they had this particular space that they wanted to work with, and we, option A, B, C, and I just love this because it was such a beautiful canvas to work with. But you can see specifically when I was designing, whoa, don't do that. When I was designing, I was intentionally playing with the depth of the space. So I knew I had a rigging point here. I knew I had rigging points for the entire column. I had this fence post over there. So that's why, of course, you can see it working to this side, which is my left, because I knew I had a rigging point available. It was a little bit shorter on this side. I always like to play with depth when I'm building and when I'm designing. So this column was left exposed, and we build around that. We also were pushing some balloons into the nook of this arc. So option A, B, C, in this case, the client went with something in the middle, which is the colors changed. Okay, it's not my monitor. The colors did change halfway through. Well, what's happening? But I really, really love that example. So here we go. One more. A long time ago, we built this. It was certainly, and probably still is, one of the largest organic pieces I've done. What can you do when a client asks for a design that you can't make on your program, such as a character for modeling balloons? Well, I will probably superimpose a character, a shape, a logo, a real life. If you saw Luis Carlos's Microsoft Publisher designing presentation, check that out. Awesome. It just proves there's so many different ways to do this. I was fortunate enough to be, at his warehouse, at his workshop, and he showed me how he did that real time on his computer. And I got to say, I was a little bit starstruck. And I showed him the design tool as it was at the time. We shared ideas on how to do it. That still works for him as the best method, and clearly he's doing a killer job. Luke, please keep it to yourself. So this design was just epic. Once again, the client came to us looking for a cloud. I was just obviously a little obsessed with this cylindrical cone shape, twirl at the time. So I gave him that option 2, and then option C, which was pretty much double the budget. So when we ended up installing it was a little bit between A and C. But once again, it gives your client the ability to see. In this case, we're pitching for Cloudbusters to be used as an integral part of this organics, and they could see the scale. And in fact, I'll get to it. But the way I overlaid these circles, these Cloudbusters, was actually relatively to scale using pixels, and I'll get to that in a little bit. All right. So it doesn't have to be massive high-end organics. Of course, that just excites me, and I was showing off a little bit. But we use digital design for absolutely everything. So once again, we've got a couple of telephone companies that we work with, and here I've created the on the right-hand side is using the Balloons Online design tool, which we're going to shamelessly plug in a second, and on the left is using Adobe Illustrator. But you can use anything. I know people have been talking about Microsoft Publisher or whatever it is, like lots of different software. But we can even use Google as a free bit of software, which where is it? Over here, Google Drawing. Just go in and type in Google Drawing, and we're going to show this. It does like so many things that PowerPoint Publisher, many different bits of software do. But it's completely free, and you can probably even do it on your phone. Have you experienced a client decide not to hire you? Oh, good question. Yeah, a lot of people ask about that. And they're like, why do a free digital render? Hold on a tick. Essentially, I don't charge for it. Okay, so a good question. I'm glad we got there. But I have wonderful clients who know and trust me and the work that I do, and providing this service is a whole part of that building of trust and respect. Even why would someone take this design and go to somebody else and try and get it cheaper? Well, they will, but they're not my client, and they never will be. And if I have it wasted my time on them, then so be it. But truth be told, I don't know if that has ever happened. I should add as well, if somebody calls me up and says, I've got my kids' party, I need a digital render, I want an on-site inspection, we will say no. We have a minimum on-site inspection of a $2,000 order, and anything less than that, we take a deposit. However, anyone wanting to place a $2,000 order with me, I want to impress them, right? I want to show off. And this is giving me a wonderful opportunity for me to develop that relationship, to be interested in their brief, in their job, in their event, and to go in and ask those questions and to work out a tailored package for them, because chances are, I hope, that none of my competition watch this video and don't start, no, it's fine. I share a lot, including with my competition. All cool. On that note, if we can grow the industry as one, we can all be as professional as ever, then I think we're really going to separate the professionals from the non-professionals, and we're going to grow this industry to be something completely different. So you win no matter what, and that's my opinion. I could try and hold this and hide all of this stuff, but I don't think I get anything from that. My best clients tell me that to double the price. All right, you do that. Why not? And I do that. Like with these different designs, it gives you the opportunity to just sort of test the waters. You're fishing almost, right? You just see what they're going to bite and what they're going to come back at. So other advantages. Digital designing will assist with stock ordering. Now we're going to get to that. So with the organics that I showed you before, I have methods based on a certain formula based on distances, right? So we have 2 meters long by whatever, I can calculate how much stock I need. And I will calculate that based on where do you live that you can get a $2,000 job? Well, maybe not these days. I got to tell you, the amount of like massive jobs that we had lined up for this month, it really pained me to have to cancel every single one of them. It was looking to be one of the best months of my life in this industry. But you know, it'll come back, and it's just time. And I implore you all to use this time. You know, spend it with your family, slow down, relax, and then after that, you know, rewatch these videos, start applying some of the things that you've learned. All right, so you know, create a scale. So digital design as well helps you to, you know, connect things into real life proportions, right? So we're talking about that Cloudbusters, for instance, or the last slide, these columns, and we can see how it applies in its space. So we can, you know, work out, okay, is it 10 layers, is it 11 layers? You know, some of these designs I've shown you before, you can see, well, you know, what if it's 10 meters tall? What if it's 3 meters tall? We can price both those options, and the client can see both those options and make a judgment call if they can afford it or not. Simple question: when designing for a client, yeah, well, we've spoken about that. So happy to chat about any of this stuff after the video. Maybe not straight after. I might be going to sleep. Thinking of you, Dom and Keith. But hit me up on Facebook, Instagram. Just don't send me a letter. I don't really Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Hit me up. Love to chat. So another job. I hope you're enjoying these slides. We will stop soon. 340 more to go. And this was a complicated job. In fact, this was one of the jobs that got cancelled in Australia about 4 weeks ago. Events of 500 people or more were canned, and this was the entrance to this huge, amazing outdoor event. So, you know, we were playing around with honeycomb fans, different organics, and the budget was tight. So we looked at a way, as you can see on the right, this one here was actually the most affordable because of the air gaps between. And personally, actually, from a design perspective, I prefer that. When it's just completely full on both sides, like her original request, to me, it's in this specific way, I felt it was a little over consuming. I like when my organics can play around a structure, can weave in and out, right? Can integrate. And if we're just consuming a structure in quite a linear way, we don't have the opportunity to curve it and shape it. All right. So it doesn't just have to be organics. I know they all sort of have, but we do. And in fact, my passion, believe it or not, maybe if we didn't do a lot of organics, my organics would be my passion again. But my passion is work like this. It's a little bit more structured, right? A little bit more architectural, where we have a rigid grid, and you know, we can put in superimpose logos or some complicated framing, that kind of stuff. So this is using the Balloons Online design tool. But if you have a look back, once again, Luis Carlos did a wonderful publisher. So what was it? I think it was publisher with Duplicate Square Pack and many different techniques, many ways to skin a cat, if I'm allowed to say that. All right. Agree about air gaps. Thank you. So we'll just run through a couple more examples, and then we'll spend the next half of this presentation looking at how to do it. Now, I'm not going to spend, just going to get in there now. I'm not going to spend too long showing you how. I appreciate I have a graphic design background, so some of the methods I use are a lot easier, but I'm just going to show you a few different bits of software, a quick introduction, and I leave it to you to work out how to do it. I would, PowerPoint, thank you. So Luis Carlos did it on PowerPoint. I personally, I'm not the right person to be asking on how to use PowerPoint, on how to use Adobe Illustrator. For the Balloons Online design tool, you're entitled to ask me a question because I built that. But everything else, it's not my speciality. Go on YouTube, Google it. There'll be a million graphic design professionals showing you how to use that software. All right, so a couple more slides. Bear with me, please. So this one I really like as an example because the digital renders that I create, I'm pointing with my hands. The digital renders I created ended up actually being something completely different. But I just want to show you, I'm using the available rigging points. I'm creating a shape that's integrated, but it also tells a story, right? So in this story, it's almost like smoke billowing. This is not an organics class, but when balloons have, a shape or tell a story or a representative of something that's natural and real, that's when your decor, specifically in organics, will come to life. So we got on site, however, and I found this this yellow, can, whatever you want to call it. The word eludes me. And I said, "What are you doing with that?" And it was a styled shoot for a new Samsung phone. Actually, they were filming a video. It was called like the world's most beautiful tea party or something. And anyway, we flipped it upside down and said, "Can we just start a fire, from that barrel, and it'll grow and expand and sprawl." Looking back on it, I don't really like this. It was unnecessary. But even though you have a plan, please allow your mind to change that plan real time. Okay, it really annoys my staff, but I think with a customer, if they're susceptible to it, get on site, see something, propose it, shape it, style it. It doesn't, always have to be the digital render. When you have more than one option for a customer, how much the difference in price between? Well, that's for you to quote, right? So in this case, as we're looking at this example, I knew the measurement of this boat. By the way, this is a Russian billionaire's boat. They had 26 full-time staff. Like the tender that picked me up was probably worth more than my house. It was just amazing. So we got to work on level 4, which the whole level was a gym. And this was New Year's Eve, 40-degree day. It was just crazy. But I knew the width of the top of that bulkhead, so I could calculate. Okay, we have the garland going left to right at this and down at that. So I knew the amount of meterage that I needed to apply purely from the design, and then we could quote. So when you're doing multiple designs, have some sort of a key, like a primary key that you can. Like, for instance, looking at this, I can know that chair is roughly 1.2 meters tall, or I know that the width left to right is 16 meters or whatever it may be. Do you think there shouldn't be a gap between options? Big gap. No, I absolutely insist you have a gap between the options that you're selling to your client. Have an A, which is what they want, right? Have a B, which is plus, say, 50%, and a C, which is at least double. Always do the double. Because if they get excited about it, if they get passionate about it, you have the amount of times that their budget boom. We're talking about events that if they're going to spend $1,000 on balloon, if that's their budget, right, even $500 on balloons, chances are they're spending 10 grand on the event in total, or maybe 20 even. So for them to say, you know what, that balloon decor looks amazing. All of a sudden, I don't think flowers look that good anymore, right? Or all of a sudden, our lighting budget just got halved. They're going to reallocate, their budget. It's a 3-course meal now because I really, really want that balloon cloud at my wedding, right? It is 100% worth, giving a C option. Kobe says, what about rigging? How can you know about that before? Well, in this case, the job that we're looking at, I did an on-site inspection. I took these photos and then went back and did a design. This is a really interesting job. I don't know if you can see this line right here, but this line went to a column all the way over there. There was 4 columns, and we built this in QuickLink XGrids running this way, so the long side. And we built them about 3 X's at a time, and those rails I pre-installed, and we clipped them onto the rails, and then we hung it over. We cantilevered it over because we couldn't get a scissor lift or anything into the space. And then we did our next QuickLink line, tied it off, and then pushed it over. And the whole thing just sort of laid out over, and we pushed it on these rails, and we just slid it out over as we went, and then backfilled it just by adding balloons on top. Amazing job. We had to start this one at, I think it was about 11 o'clock at night and finish at 7 in the next morning. And I looked a lot worse than Dom and Keith do now. So just another job while I sip my tea.
That's harsh. We don't look bad at all.
This one was a couple of weeks ago, in fact, and I'm still waiting for the professional photos. Really, really excited. And once again, there was an option A, B, and C. What we have down in the bottom right is just an example of how when you're quoting your clients, it isn't all about the grandeur of scale. The individual, the small items are important to include as well. And guess what they went with? Well, the biggest one possible, which was top right, and heaps of these arrangements as well in the two designs to the right. So, when you're doing a brief as well, and as you get to work with your clients, just a little segue number 2 for you there, Jag. Just another one is when you're talking to your clients and you're working with clients, you get to learn from them and be open-minded to them. I think some of my most difficult and challenging clients, and I hope they're not watching this, I'm not going to mention names, have taught me the most about how to be a better decorator, right? They'll say, I don't like it, it's crap, do this. They'll say, client said that or whatever, right? I don't agree with your color selection. Learn from that, okay? They're experts in their field. By the combined experience and being open-minded to criticism and encouraging criticism, you will grow exponentially. And the reason why did I even get into this? I don't know how I segued to that. Let's backtrack. So next slide. And I hope you've all seen this before. And if you haven't, Google it. It was one of the funnest jobs I've ever been a part of. And see if you can find yourself. If you can see yourself on that dance floor, please write your name down. I would love to hear it. That'd be so funny. So this is WBC 18. Probably one of the proudest moments of my career. See how I chucked in career just in case my wife's watching. It was a wonderful honor. I got to decorate the after party decor. If you can see that, this is a little something. Got to decorate the after party decor, and I applied these same principles. And I'll show you a little bit of that. Yeah, I can see myself in what I did for creating this. So the whole idea was, in this case, we were given essentially an unlimited budget with unlimited manpower-ish. Thank you for everyone that helped. And I had no theme as well. I could just create whatever I wanted. And at that time, I saw this a theatrical production. And in one of the layers, they had all these lights being reflected off silver. So they turned the layer into red or blue or whatever. And I was just absolutely hooked on this idea, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. So the whole concept behind this was reflected light. So just next. These were some of the slides. You can even see the way, by the way, this was designed in 2017. And you can already see how I've developed my techniques in creating digital renders for decor. So this was created, the backdrop was using Google SketchUp, which is a free tool for creating 3D modeling. For all those nerds out there, I'm sure you use it. And I overlaid that with the balloons being Adobe Illustrator. So, you can kind of see these components here. We're just getting a look and a feel and a flavor of what eventually we all saw at WBC. So honored. Everyone, once again, thank you for the opportunity. So here is just a little bit. I'll zoom in a bit on this one. So this is using, once again, Adobe Illustrator. In fact, this process was sort of a caveat for the quick link grid. But this was every single X that you see, I knew was going to be 50 centimeters by meters. You guys can work that out in feet. So I actually had a real life, we're talking about dimensions and scale. Here's 81 feet by whatever it is. I had many different going on here. But I had a working diagram. So it doesn't even have to always be for your client. You can apply it for your own internal uses as well. And lastly, so let's get to the fun stuff. This is as close as I'm going to get to playing with balloons tonight. So these are a few things. I will post some of these links as well, or you can just watch it and type it in. PR, yes, I remember you there. Thank you. Firstly, we'll look at some of the free ones, and then I'll show you perhaps the Balloons Online Design tool. I have a couple of free videos on YouTube talking about some of these methods, but it won't be actually as detailed as this video. So why don't we start with the free one? Okay, Google Drawing. I don't use it because I've got Adobe Illustrator, but Adobe Illustrators are expensive. You got to pay for like a $70 a month subscription. I appreciate people don't do that. That's why PowerPoint is widely used because most people have the Microsoft subscription. But when I was playing around with Google Drawings, it wasn't very limited. I want to ask 3D Studio can't be used as illustration. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go over here. So Google Drawings. So you just go to Google and you type in Google Drawings. You probably need a Google account to create it, but boom, open it up, and it'll save in your Google Drive, right? So it's cloud-based stuff, and off you go. So what I do for most of my renders is I will preload a saved template. But in this case, let's just start from the start. In that saved template, I have my logo and a few different layers and things like that. You're the very best at marketing. Oh, thank you. Cool. Who is playing with the mouse on the screen? Me. It's not Dom and Keith, I don't think. All right. So upload from computer. So I'm just going to paste an image right now and see for all of those. This is what the pros do. They make sure they're in the right folder. And here we have just an image of a Samsung store. This is a real life one that we use. And I've just pasted in and now I'm ready to start working. So quickly, what I love about this is we can insert shapes. So most of the time it's going to be a circle. Now, one little tip, hold down the shift button when you are applying a circle. It keeps the aspect ratios as a perfect circle and not an oval. There is another mouse. I don't know. All right, so when you place your circle, if you click on the fill color, there's a gradient tab. And within that gradient tab, you have a few different things at the top, but go for the circular ones down the bottom. And I will probably remove the border. See what I did there? Click on the border button. You can keep it if you need it, or maybe make it even smaller. But let's just sort of remove it. Okay. So, and then I can copy it, which is Control C as a shortcut, paste it. And then I'm going to holding down Shift. I'm going to just resize. Okay. So now the thing is, I haven't played around with this long enough to work out how to lock the background image. So let's just move that to the side. All right. So select them all, copy, paste. And maybe now we will start to look at some different colors, copy, paste. All right, so I'm not going to play around with this too much, but this is pretty much how I start no matter what software I'm using. This is how I start doing some organic stuff. So we just get a bunch of sizes together and maybe all of those we will resize, and just resize it, make it as random and sporadic as you want. And then you can start placing them. And because I did a copy paste, I still have, I can't read any of the comments right now, so I hope everyone's being nice. We can sort of paste in a few things, copy paste, well, paste. You can see already just how bloody easy that is, right? Can I get some thumbs up? I want some golden nuggets. I didn't get any last time. Can I get like 2, please? Because this is kind of cool. And you know how much it is? Nothing.
The thing is, as well, Chris,
that.
everybody at the moment,
Yeah.
the comments that are on there are absolutely fantastic. But
delayed. Oh, good. Oh, there we go. Some hearts. Thanks, man. Thank you. So, like, when I saw this, because I had no need to look for it, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that's free. Maybe I actually don't need that $70 a month subscription. Now, I don't think you can rotate. So if I want to change the shape of this, I have to select a few at a time and do it this way. When we get to Illustrator, I'll show you a couple other things. So now if we paste that in here, select it, and then unselect the background, you get the idea. Okay, so that is a super quick free way of doing organics. And if they want now we're going to do our option B. is how do you rotate? Oh, you can rotate. And maybe just sort of resize a bit and oops. Whatever, right? Okay. Does it use layers? It does. Now, I haven't played around with it. I'm not going to worry right now because I'm not proficient at this software, so I don't want to play around with assuming I know all of the fancy stuff. Now, once again, I'm sure being Google, there is a million videos out there on how you can use this software. So, okay, let's move on from that one. Microsoft Word. Okay, so very similar to what I just did. So I'm not even going to get into that because it's the same idea. Microsoft PowerPoint, same idea. Okay, you upload it, you insert your circles, and off you go. So you can use it as well for columns and arches. Let's see if sort of delete all of that. You get the idea. Like once again, you saw Luis Carlos's. Oops. Copy. Let's see if we can paste in place. Paste. No. Oh. Okay. So there you go. It's got your little red line, so you can line it up. That's pretty neat. Okay. So you can create balloon columns. I'll just do another one so you can see how it's going to come together. Boom. There. There's probably a center back, rotate order, center back. Right click, order, to back, control shift. Okay. So you guys get the idea. And the whole idea from here is if you're creating your own columns, now we've got the foundation, you just copy that and we will need a third middle part. But that's sort of how we start. I'm not going to bother with this because I got a better way of showing you how to do columns. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. All right, so that's how we're going to do columns on our free software. But how can you estimate the size? Well, hold that thought. I'll show you in a second. Okay, well, look, how to estimate the size right now. If you don't have any metrics for estimating the size of a column, make one, right? Next time you make a column and you sell a column, just write it down, how many balloons, at what size. We have a, I'll show you really quickly, this has nothing to do with the class, but we have a whole thing on just so it is to be a duplicate square pack. I'm right now in Google Drive, so we save everything in certain folders of how we do it. We write down notes on past jobs so that I don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. So you guys can quickly save the screen right now and access all my knowledge. But this is stuff that how much we inflate it to this size, to that size. How many balloons did we use? Right? Retrospectively, go back on a job when you're there, rather measure it, take a photo. You can count the balloons. You can count the size, the inflation size. You can lodge all that down and come back. So this is a working doc that I have for all of my inflation sizes. So back to columns. Where were we? Write it down. Okay. There's another little nugget for you. Let's get some nugget icons, or at least a hashtag, something funny. All right. So, there we are, Adobe Illustrator. So let's have a look. We're going to go a little deeper now into, didn't have this one already. Got me. Teaching. How sad is this? Canada, Italy, both not going to happen. Well, they will happen, hopefully, another time. But alas. Here's something cool I put in here. It's just a segue number 3 for you, Jag. Most positive news. It seems our panel apart. Okay, cool. All right, so here's just sort of like nerding out a little bit. This is a job that got cancelled because it was for university of ours. Open day. We would have done it a couple of weeks ago now. but it was a Rubik's Cube theme party. And I used, oh, by the way, you can see all my colors over here. So that's sort of this is my real life working thing. We've even got some lighting that we can apply and all kinds of stuff. So this was a Rubik's Cube themed party. So option A was that, and option B was this essentially. I created the foundation, which are the panels using the Balloons Online design tool, the Quick Link Grid. We're going to get to that, and then I applied some nerdy ways. Reflex tool, it's called, where you can scale it to look three-dimensionally, and I've got all these different. I made the one panel and just reflexed it in different ways. I know that's a little bit. Don't worry about it. But my job, I think, could be wrong, is to show you guys what's possible, and then show you what's easy and what's a great starting point. So that free Google one is your starting point, and I'd love to see where you go from there. Questions? Totally forgot. Oh, you're watching Dante's class. Dante's always getting me, that boy. Your tools are a godsend. Thank you, Emma. You're a legend. Say it again. Okay, back here. So just for this class, we're going to play around with that same job. But here's something. Once again, the actual, you can see this has changed a few times. The actual quote, right, that I worked on. Now, a couple of nerdy things. So firstly, you'll see that the individual balloons are a prettier color, okay? That's because within Illustrator, if you looked at the bottom right of my screen, I have applied 3 different ways of a gradient of color. But you don't have to. It's just me nerding out. The other thing you'll see is the chrome is chrome. Now, that is actually a real life image. So just bear with me. I'm just going to go to the Qualitex. I'll show you why not. Qualitex.com.au site. And I'm going to show you how I got them. Chrome doesn't matter. 7-inch, 11-inch, same color. And let's say we want to go mauve. And back to Illustrator. Paste it in. So you guys can do this at home. It'd be pretty cool if Qualitex, hint, hint, nudge, nudge, provided something like this. And I just create a circle, overlay it, and then select both, right click, make clipping mask, bam. So I've created my own chrome balloon sample, whoops, that I can now resize, copy, paste, and start creating organics with, just as simple as that, okay? So Cloudbusters, whatever, you guys can do that as well. You're such a nerd, Chris. Thanks, Marion. I think aren't like half or more of the balloon industry super nerdy. I think this is why I really get along with Twisters. Like whenever I'm at a convention, I actually really enjoy having a couple of beers with balloon twisters because we're just all a little bit crazy. Okay, so back to here, we can play around with other things, like just say the client wanted or didn't even want, but you're going to give them this 2 different textures. So you can, what was that? I'm going to show you that later. You can make it, fluffier, bigger and bolder and see how that looks, right? Now what you just saw then, I'm going to show you guys. This is once again like balloon design, 3 point lots. How much your balloon tools cost? Okay, well, yeah, I'll talk about it in a second. I didn't want this to be a plug, balloon guys. Just I'm not going to talk about it too much. Message me; it'll be awesome. But like the design tool is free as well as 7 days free. I've had it free for about 3 years, and I want to talk about later, but I want to add more stuff to it. For instance, an organic calculator, an organic design component to it, and so essentially I've monetized it so that people can help me pay for it. So back to here though, this is the next level. So once you've created your organic shapes or whatever it is, now we want to start talking about masking, layer masking. So in this case, what I've done is I've selected the background and I've copied it and Control Shift V, I think, places it directly over the last image. And what I'm going to do now is, if I hide everything else, I'm going to select something that I want. For instance, it could be this, and I'm just going to, cut out a part of it. Has everyone got their Adobe Illustrator or playing along at home? I hope you are. It was in the notes. That's the funniest joke I'm going to have all night. All right, so I'm just got my little selection tool. I've gone over that light box, selected the background, make a clipping mask, just like we did with the balloon. So what I've done here is that box is now, well, can't zoom in, is now a separate item, okay? So I will create a new layer, bring that to the foreground, bring it up here, okay? Just play along at home. I'm gonna hide that and bring everything else back on. So now we can see that our organics is, whoops, lock that, is behind the thing. Okay, we'll delete that. That was, so we can see now how we're talking about organics from a design perspective, how you want to integrate, right? How you want to curl around and work with your environment. So I'm going to create another layer, and we could perhaps have this and placed it in front of the box. Okay, so that's sort of your advanced next stage with your designing. Is I just realized everything's moved. Is working with shapes and layering and things like this, and I'm completely all over the place now. All right, so any questions? None? Good, lovely. Let's get some thumbs up. Come on, can I get a hell yeah? I don't know why all of a sudden I feel like this is some kind of a sports show. I'm trying to rally the crowd. Okay, so balloontools.com is our last part on the slide, and we're looking good for time. How come my Mrs. Paint interface looks different to yours, Chris? I'm sorry. It's Adobe Illustrator, but your Paint interface is not going to be as good as the free Google Drawings. Awesome, some stuff. Thanks. Okay, so where were we? The design tool. So you go to balloontools.com.au, and when it loads, you do get 7 days free. Okay, so you just got to click on plans or log in, create an account, 7 free days to play around with it, do whatever you want. Maybe guys, Q-Corner, I don't know if you want to do a prize, totally up to you, more than happy to, but we'll talk about that later if you want. All right, moving on. So back here, once we're logged in, we have access to the tool. And there are many different grids. I'm going to go through briefly about all of this, and then we can, there's a few more videos online, or just ask me some questions, or hey, play around. I love it. I can't tell. I'm not just saying this. I love it when people create stuff on this and share it. It just warms my heart, especially when it was free. Like, I know it being paid kind of sucks, but I really, really want to add more to this. So I really implore you, help me with that. So the first grid that I created was actually the 6-inch grid using 6-inch quick links. And just to go through a couple of the things, you can see at the top, templates. This is where we have all of the different grids. This is probably the most comprehensive part of the tool. And I saw it for the first time in Ghana. Awesome. Next, we have columns. So I know it's one word, but it's to design a balloon column, metric or imperial. You select your height. That can vary, 10 meters, balloon width. I know actually Aeropole were talking about their new lovely connection point. We're looking actually to create within the arch category a design for that, for the Aeropole, where it's more of a circle than an arch. So you can go in and change all your sizes, even your balloon inflation width, and it'll give you a pretty good estimate of the quantity of balloons. So if I downsize the inflation, Google Drawing app is awesome. I know it's free. And Chris has a lot of videos on YouTube. Yeah, thank you. Just Google Chris Adamo. Appreciate the Balloon Crew on Instagram. This is turning into a plug. I'm going to stop. So, arch, string of pearl or garland. Make sure you know what you're on first. String of pearl is helium inflated on a line. Garland is only 4 balloons, all right, quads of 4. We want to change that to 5. It's had some good questions on that. This just does your calculating, all right? Client calls you up. They want a height of 10 feet by 20 feet, okay? It'll give you the quantity of balloons and the arc length. So what I love is talking about the arc length. So just say 2.5 by 5 is that arc length, which you can see here, is the line length, right? The line run of the conduit or the aeropole or whatever it is that you have inside. This can apply for swags on a line, on a string. It's to me, I will actually start my framing based on that measurement. Okay. It'll also help me work out how many pieces I can get in the van. There's lots of different things that we can work out with just that arc length measurement. This is really cool. This is one of the first things we had is what's QCon? What? Did I say something? I don't know. I can't see it. One side of the wall. Okay. The ceiling calculator. So I created this as like an Excel spreadsheet calculator. Oh, by the way, organic stock order calculator is the first thing. It's going to look like this. It's the first thing I'm going to introduce, hopefully in a month. Looks like this, but back to what we're talking about. A client came to me, and before then, everybody had said, how many 11-inch balloons do I need in my, can you change that to standard? How many 11-inch balloons do I need to fill a ceiling? And I would usually say, it depends and blah, 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 based on a meter. It was 8 to 16 if it's full, 8 if it's loose. And usually I would actually end up asking them, how many people are at your event? Okay. And I would say it's usually 2 per person. And that was a really good guide at the time. And then a customer said, I want to fill my roof with 16-inch and 3 foots and 11-inch, right? And even mixable. How many balloons do I need? I'm like, I have no idea. So I nerded out a little bit, and we started. I worked out a formula-ish, which has circles and circles, and the surface area of 2-dimensional surface area of a circle, and then it even discounts the diamond in between the circles, and change it to step. Keep looking at that, and it gave me. Not only confidence to recommend the right amount of balloons, because it was a lot, it was expensive, but I actually also just screenshot this and sent it to the client. Because when they see it looking in this like really cool mathematical spreadsheet type thing, it wasn't me or my staff, right? Like your team don't have the experience that you have, and they're on the phone. It gave me the confidence to give them a number. And so let's look at it. So just say the proportions are 5 by 10. Okay, they want 100% full, because that's what they usually say on the phone. I want to fill the roof. And if it is 100% 11-inch, right, for you guys over in the States, 11-inch balloons, it will tell me we need 813 11-inch balloons. Oh, kisses from Portugal, Luke. Now, if I want now to, the customer's like, whoa, too many. I'm like, well, look, why don't we look at 50%, right? 50% white space, 50% balloons, because when you're looking at it at an angle, it's still fine. It all depends, right? Usually 50% is where I'll get the client to sign off when they start to see that quote. Can everyone stop kissing Luke in the chat, please? But now if we've got 100% 28 centimeter, 11-inch balloons, we can start to look at, well, maybe we want 20% of this and or 15%, which will give us 5% 3 foot. Now, it does give you the option to change your inflation size for each balloon, depending on where you're at, what you're doing. So in this case, at 100% capacity, like filled, we need, based on all of that, we need 650 28-inch. You can see it. It's cool. So I really give kiss. I'm not looking at the chat now. Really, really love this. We use it weekly, if not multiple times a week, and it's a great guide for my team. So templates. How are we going for time? Let's start with the easy templates. And I'll show you one thing with this, and I'll tell you it can be applied to everything else. So these are all our Qualitex colors. I'm pretty sure we're up to date. I think everything is here. Now, it is a single color. It's a computer. It's how it works. It's not a shade. So that's why it's a little bit more mechanical, but it gives this little cool little, light reflection. Now, so here we are building a column, right? So when we start the tool, the grid, it just goes on a really long way. But we have a base, a bit of that calculator coming up here. So if a client wants a column to be 2 meters tall, it's going to be about 10 layers, because that's exactly how we do it in our shop, right? So one quick way, by the way, of coloring in is using this block paint. So I've clicked block paint on the left and select the first balloon and drag to the bottom balloon. Sometimes you get all of them, sometimes you don't. You can also replace the color if you want to have an option A or an option B. So just say I'm going to untick block paint and I'm going to create a spiral. That is exactly how long it takes. Okay. Now I will point out one little thing. It doesn't, this stock order count that you can see, and that is, how good is that, right? Stock order count. So you can see it changing. You will notice if I click a middle balloon, like look at the number, it's 24. If I click a middle balloon, it counts 2. That's because it assumes the balloon behind it is the same color. Keep that in mind. We're looking to create a way to expand this so you can manually manipulate the behind colors as well. But if it's a spiral, we know that the colors are pretty much consistent. I will click the tidy up button. So you see all these cells that are blank? Click tidy up and it will remove it all. And I can remove the guides and it gets this beautiful unimpeded design. And now I would recommend up here, file, save the file to the right folder, and not there, and give it a name, column 1, save the file. Now, when you click file save, it saves what's called a JSON file, which is just the file that this software understands. You won't be able to load it anywhere else, but it's cool. Make sure you save it. Actually, one thing we're looking to do is to have a portal. This might be in the next few months, is a library where you can share files with me and I will share it to everybody else. Just so you make like a Batman balloon wall, and you're happy for that to be shared as a design file so other people can load it and tweak it. I really, really, really want to see that happening. So it'll be free to share stuff, and stay tuned for that. So I've saved the file. Now that JSON file, I can't really do anything with anywhere else, but make sure you save it in case you close your browser. Now I'm going to save as a PNG file. Now PNG file is a vector file, Google it, and it means that it is points and dots and lines which can be zoomed in without losing quality. It's not bitmapped, which means it's not pixels, it's a vector file. So save as a PNG, column 1, and I'm going to go back to my mate Adobe Illustrator, and I'm going to go File, Open, and I will open this. So you can see now that vector file, you can see how the background is changing. So I'm going to copy that, and something that's really annoying me is, let's get rid of that, and let's move the picture up a bit. Oh, that's kind of where it's meant to be anyway. Okay, and we'll lock that, paste our column in, and we'll just delete this stuff, not that. Okay, so here's our column, and I can resize it into my example, right? So copy paste, make it a little bit bigger. All right, so boom, we've pretty much now got our second option for a client. Now, what if they wanted, I've deleted everything. Here we go, here's some color. What if they wanted foot on top? Now, currently Design Tool doesn't add 3 foots, so that's why you you can just create one and add it on. Now you can add this into your Google free drawings as well, right? Google Drawings. So here, here's a little hot tip. I'm going to actually hold that. I'm going to open this because this is just a group of individual files. What's going on? Why can't I? Ungroup. Where is it? Did a wrong thing. Anyway, let's move on. So you can paste a 3 foot in there if you want. And let's try this one. Isolate, select image. Should be able to undo this. I got stage fright, everybody. Okay, let's move on. So that's how you can, using the design tool, you can save it as a file type. Maybe it's SVG. And open it. You guys are really enjoying this, aren't you? It's SVG. I'm an idiot. No, it's not. What? Here it is. It's back there. SVG. Okay, cool. So the SVG file is the one which is pure vector, and when you paste that in, you can resize it. We're moving again, people. Can I get some ha 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 emoticon? Because everyone's like, haha, isn't he silly? He forgot how to do that. And now stroke is the weight of the that line. Right, see, I've just changed that. I'm just going to undo. See, once again, the line which comes with it is stroke weight to something that we're happy with. It depends on how zoomed in or out you are. All right, and I'm going to copy that, open this, paste it in. So I'll get my 3 foot to an appropriate size. Paste it there. I'll grab that one balloon, bring it to front. Right, just sort of nestles it in a wee bit. And now I've got my column. What are the notes? You saved this, but yeah. Ha ha ha. Thanks, Kobe. Do it again. I asked you to do it. Thanks, Kobe. All right. So there you go. You have an idea. That's super quick. Okay. So just say the client goes, no, Chris. I said I want it orange and goldenrod, you idiot, and SVG column 2. And I'll open column 2. Copy. So we can save this one to, whatever we want. It's JPEG, something for the client, boom. And then we can go in and, actually I'll just this first, paste that in and get that out of there. Yeah, buddy, I can. Cool. Thank you. 20 minutes, people. 20 minutes. Actually, I probably don't even need that long because we are just rocking away. Any questions at all, guys? I haven't been reading. Any questions? No. Cool. Okay, so once again, select it and change the stroke weight to that. All right, boom. So that was pretty quick to change the colors, and that's what I love about that color changing thing. And I'm trying to read some questions. Everyone's talking. Yes. Okay. Now, people are going to say, I use blah, 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 and I use blah, blah, blah. Now, use whatever you want. Graphic design tools are a dime a dozen. They're all wonderful. They all do the same kind of things. So vector, stroke weight, layers, masking, all that kind of stuff. So I just use Illustrator because I've already got it. So that is columns. So I won't go into as much detail into the other things like we did, but all of them you can do that. You can export to SVG or PNG. PNG, now I'm thinking about it, is actually a bitmap file type, but it does have a translucent layer. That's all. Sorry. You can also print, right? So you can print, and it prints out with the stock order list, as you can see here. Row count, height, blah, blah, blah. That's for your production. So I've done that before. That's a little thing. It logs you out when you click cancel. Getting back in. Okay, cool. We're live. So the Arch tool, let's look at that. So once again, if you can see this, the it has a full grid of this giant arch. And what you want to do is select a color. I'm going to click block paint, and I'm going to drag all the way across to something. And now at the top left, I think you actually have to click another button. It'll say your height and width. Now, pretty much actually, that's about the dimensions that we always do our arches. We call them a double door size arch. So I'm going to click the tidy up button. Boom. So this will now show us relative as to how the layers appear based on 39 rows with a finished height. Now, that height of 305 by 610 centimeters, or for all of those in Imperial, there it is external. Okay, so that is the outer edge of the balloons, right? From left to right, and the top, the outer edge of the top, it is not talking about the internal or the average measurement, and it's quite accurate on that. It's not using the some of the simple ways of calculating it. We worked out a bit of a nerdier way of doing this. If you think I'm a nerd, by the way, sit down for a beer with Keith and Dom and just get them to talk about their life, because it made me feel a little bit better. High five. Okay, so add a color. Let's do. I find when I'm like rushing a design, it always looks horrible because I just choose completely random colors. But why don't we go? Well, let's replace that color with lemon chiffon, and over here we can add wintergreen. Who knows? Maybe that'll look good. So block paint. Now, what I love about this, we know we have 39 rows, right? Layers, quads. So we can go, okay, well, 39 is an uneven number. So in that case, we can start boom right there in the middle, and we could do something like this. Now, grain of salt a little bit here, people. I remember Luke Patron said, "There's such nerds," says Top Hat Balloon Works. Luke Patron messaged me when he first saw this, and mate, I really appreciated your feedback early on. It was a real honor to have you so keen on the tool. And you know, he was talking about measurements and how you're going to get everybody to be so consistent. And there is that element of variation. Don't say, "Oh, Chris, it was 40 layers." I don't want to hear it. Work it out. So, but it's a guide, okay? Please, it's a guide, and it's just based on the way the metrics that I use, really. Which, you know, I might be stacking it a little tighter or whatever. But we can just start to sort of color in a couple of things. So let's do this as an example. All right, so here we have a beautiful little spiral. Now, the coolest thing is when you get really, really complicated jobs, which isn't this yet, the replace button, I just love it, okay? What if they're not sure about azure blue or wintergreen? Boom. We save each option, and we can save them as JPEGs perhaps, and copy them and paste option A, option B in our email of our quote. Let's start to look at something a little bit more complicated. Probably my favorite is the Duplicate Square Pack, purely because I just love working with this design. In fact, I'm not going to say Segway Jag, I'm not going to say it. We hashtag Segway, everybody. No one's laughing. I was very fortunate enough to be in Wichita back before before Float Convention, and we filmed a couple of how-to videos in the studio. It was the craziest moment ever. I landed with jet lag, and 10 hours later, they're like, action. Thanks, Cam. And we filmed a couple of videos on some of these techniques, Duplicate Square Pack, alternate size pack, with a few designs. So jump on qualitex.com and check it out. There's lots of great stuff, especially for QBN members. You can get heaps of amazing stuff. CBA, sorry. So back to here. So you can learn, jump on the Qualitex YouTube page or my YouTube page, the same video is there, on how to create with this method, or just see anything that Luis Carlos does. Amazing. What a day. Dante did a video on this convention. Sorry, D. All right. Now, we were talking about measurements and scale and all that kind of stuff, and I showed you quickly my document within Google Drive. So I have written there exactly, based on my inflation sizes, how much height and width I get when I inflate to, 7.5, 10 inches, whatever it may be. And so a client comes to me and say, Chris, we've got a stage or we've got a window, whatever it may be. It's 3 meters long. So I will divide 3 meters by my inflation, my size that I've got written in my graph based on my inflation size, and just say it'll work out to be 30 balloons across. So generally what I do, the first thing I do is I think of, okay, regardless of what I'm designing, I'll grab a color, I'll click block paint, and I'll go over to 30 balloons across. And then they'll say, Chris, it's going to be 2 meters tall, and whatever that works out in balloons, I will then make that. So I can actually just at this point, drag and drop to get my canvas. Okay. So the most important thing, boom, what are we working with? So these are now the amount of pixels I have to play with, and I'll click the tidy up button. All right. So at this point, I might even realize, crap, I don't have enough pixels, okay? Because the design I'm trying to create is super complex, and it gives you the opportunity at this point to go, well, let's change my inflation size. Let's make the balloon smaller to give me more pixels, or bigger because it'll be cheaper, and I can get the design done in half, whatever it may be. But what I love about the ability to be at your computer, at home, wherever, creating these structures without inflating a single balloon is you can actually, how many times do you get there and you're like, I wish I did it 10% smaller because I can fit it in, or whatever. So make sure you save, you keep your own records of your inflation sizes, or you go into some classes. I think Lewis Carlos actually did mention some sizes based on his experience. I'm not going to get into it right now, but document all the sizes that you get based on inflation height and width and whatever, and it gives you the perfect starting point to create your canvas. So we're still in block paint, and what are we going to do? This is great on the spot. Fashion gray. That'll look fantastic. So we can, create a letter, and we can do this. Okay, fashion gray, it looks a bit silly because there's not much contrast going on. So why don't we look to replace it for gold? Okay, so that's just how malleable this is. Oops. Cool. Whatever, right? One little thing as well, actually, if that I've got into a few times, you can actually use this duplicate square pack method to create sculptures themselves, like framed sculptures, where you have the framing in between the layers. So if you imagine the blue is gone, and you can work out how you can actually create independent sculptures outside of a duplicate square pack wall, you can use this same tool to design such things. All right, so customer wants their logo is a diamond or whatever, and this is a welcome wall. You get the idea. I always end up doing the diamond when I'm doing this stuff. Oops. Now, the coolest thing, I actually haven't showed you guys this yet because it hasn't been applicable. The coolest thing, I think, about here we go. Right, by the way, we said 30 rows across this particular design. We want X amount of space over here, but now the space isn't consistent over on our right side. So now we can go, okay, well, you know what? We are going to need to add some more columns on the right side because we want to, boom, oops, click block paint, click. All right. So now retrospectively, we can see this. We tidy up, remove the guides. Now ready for it? This is my favorite bit. This button here called Exploded. If you can all see this, get your golden nuggets ready. This is going to be a good one. Ready? Boom. We haven't seen this before. When I saw that, okay, firstly, I did not code this. Okay, I used to work in IT. I'm not that intense. I paid someone to code this. When he gave me this, I didn't even ask for that functionality. He just sent it to me with that functionality on it. He's like, "What do you think? I see that you make it in columns. Can you? Is it And it just blew my mind. So from here, we can see everything that we want. We have all the rows counted. We have a full stock order. Now, talking about stock order, if I click one balloon, look, 878. Click one, 876. So, oh, come on, more nuggets. Let's do this. So as I add and remove a single balloon, it is also adding and removing the back balloon, the corresponding balloon. Dom and Keith, on time, just give me a shout out. So you've got your stock order, your complete count, and now we've actually exploded it for the purpose of construction. So I can add the guides back on with all the numberings. That's why the numberings were uneven numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on, because it's actually numbering or labeling the columns, okay, when they're exploded. So I can now go File, Print, and there you go. Maybe change it to landscape. I don't know what's taking so long. All right, and print that out and even cut out all these different bits. Or you can also, I didn't click cancel. Let's go to remove the whole thing. Don't click cancel. Damn it. All right, well, you get the idea. Okay, so make sure, everybody, remember how when I did the columns, I said, before you do anything, click save. Okay, and don't cancel a print. That's just a glitch. Got to get rid of it. If you can subscribe and throw a dog a bone, we'll get that one fixed. So look, guys, I think that's about it. Like I've shown you in detail a couple of things. The X-Grid pattern is really cool. Those who have used grids before as well, we've created some wonderful stuff using this. Actually, let's talk about grids real quick. Block plane. Whoops. So with the grids, you can, select the individual balloon that goes in that square of the grid. There's also this button called Split, where if I just make it a bit bigger for you, where I can actually click on a single cell or balloon and split it into 4, where we use that extra little 4 divider piece that goes into the grid system. And as an example, just so we want to soften that, make sure you unclick the split button and select your color. And now we can start coloring in, as an example, to soften the curves of whatever this may be. So if we wanted to create a more defined circle, whoops, we don't want to split all of them, just the outer ones. You get the idea, right? Click, click, click. So that's a little cool thing. So, right, we've created our design. Always give, a couple of color choices because it's the easiest thing you can do. Just swap the color, give your client 2 options. File, save the file, and give it a name. Make sure you're nice and organized. Whoops. All right. And I can now save it as a JPEG because that's part of the quote. Any questions? Just quickly do the 5-inch, a different color all at once. Yes. Yes. Oh, the 5-inch. Okay. If you're just talking about the grids mode right now, I don't know if there was a delay. Here, by the way, is the JPEG. We're just loading it now. When I click on it, it uses my, photos thing. So that's what the JPEG looks like. You might want to get rid of the guides before you save as a JPEG. So there's a difference. With this color swap, it doesn't differentiate between balloon size. It just is the entire block of color. So if you want to Dominic, don't stop him. If you want to a single 5-inch balloon, unfortunately, you have to color them all separately. Bam, bam, bam. And obviously, if they all had their own, if they were just that one color, swap it for something there. Cool. Guys, I think I'm done. If I keep talking, if I start something new, we're going to go way over time. So I will just stop there because I think that's about the 20 minutes anyway. Really, really love your feedback. What did Luke say? Someone's laughing at him. Guys, thank you so much for joining. As always, give me a shout out. If you got any questions whatsoever, I will get back to you in the next 3 weeks. No, I've got plenty. Now's the best time to ask a balloon professional anything. Just don't ask me how to use Adobe Illustrator. It's not my job. Cool. And in Australia, the word awesome was meant to be able to scroll. Thank you, Luke. Thanks, guys. I don't know if the Q Corner boys are there, but
we are here. Don't you worry.
Oh, they are.
Of
Always.
course, guys. We've been following along just with you as well, buddy.
Cool. Thank you. No, it was great. As I said, if I start anything else now, it will just take forever. But I think my little gem out of all of this was the free Google Drawing because I only found that a couple of months ago. I had no idea it existed. Um, and yeah, it has layers and all kinds of stuff. So jump on there. Thanks, guys.
Guys, everybody that's watching, you should be giving a whole lot of love to Chris right now. We want to see this be absolutely flooded because that was a pure gold mine. You got an hour, just a little over an hour and 30 minutes with a genius of this kind of stuff, right? And I know he'll not say that about himself, and he might get a little bit embarrassed. However, it's fair to say that he is. We use that system.
It's not the first time you've embarrassed me.
Well, it won't be the last either. That's the news up
You
here.
should also be thankful you got through that without him cracking open the guitar.
Seriously,
Very seriously.
We've used that system since he's had it for free, and we've been telling him since it was available that he should have been charging for it because, to be quite honest with you, if you're using that system correctly and you're pricing your jobs correctly, it takes nothing to get the return to pay for the year's subscription.
Yes.
We did it on our first job using that system for creating a wall. So
Thanks, guys.
it's nothing for that system. It really is.
It is.
Yeah, I wanted to really make it nothing. I appreciate it's in Australian dollars, by the way, so which is
Exactly.
now
It was
officially
like
half the
worthless.
US
Yeah.
dollars.
Totally worth
Yeah,
it.
but don't
yeah,
worry,
yeah.
don't worry. With Brexit and everything, our economy will catch up.
Yeah. But yeah, I appreciate all people all around the world have different currencies that aren't as valuable perhaps, and I really wanted to be shared with everybody. So I kept it as low as I can with trying to add what I need to add.
That's it, because you're always going to get the wants and needs of everybody on there using it, and the only way that you can justify putting any more effort back into that is to have something back out of it to put back into it. So we totally support the fact that you've went to a subscription basis, and there's options there as well. So that's cool.
Can I double check
Right.
something as well? Is that people are
Yeah.
saying that they can't hear me in the chat? They can't hear my mic. Chris, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. Yes.
Okay. Can anybody on chat hear me okay as well, please? This is just a mic check. We're going to check a mic. We'll do the Billy Damon. I love Billy Damon's mic test. He does the popsicles, icicles. Test. 1 2 1 2. Okay, it looks like we're okay. Right. Okay, we're
Oh,
going
yeah,
to say
cool.
bye-bye to Chris. We're going to say
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate what you're doing. Killing it. Get some sleep though. I'm actually getting anxious for you.
why?
Get some sleep. I can't sleep. I've no idea how you're doing this without any sleep. It's just, to me, that's ridiculous. But thank you for what you do.
Mindset. It's a mindset thing. Yeah, we went into doing this honestly.
You're an athlete.
Chris, seriously, we love what we do. We feel yes, there is somebody at the door-ish, but Dom's dealing with it. We feel very privileged to be able to do what we do. We feel very blessed to do what we do, and we get very passionate about it. We like helping people improve their own businesses by use of new designs, business skills, or whatever.
No, well,
when
bloody
we
awesome.
see
And
people-
hey, thanks to your family,
Yeah,
for lending you to the world for this week. It's just awesome.
yeah. Thank you, Chris. And we again, I want to see a flood of applauses and golden nuggets for the gold mine that is the big fella up there. Okay, I prefer seeing him much smaller on the screen rather than breaking my neck in person when I have to see him that way. Okay, I'm gonna get rid.
See you guys.
As soon as Dom comes back, we're just going to get rid of him off the
cool.
screen and move on to our next guest. So I'm still quiet, apparently. I don't know why that is. That's very strange. Let's give that a little bit of a boost on there and see if we can do that. Is that better?
I don't know if
think
I'm
so.
still on here. I can hear you fine, bro. I can hear
Okay.
you fine.
Right. You're going to hang there for
Yeah.
a little bit of second.
Yeah, somebody asked about Germany. Looking forward to seeing you in Germany. Oh my God, I'm so hope we can make it to Germany at this, so we can sort this out quickly because I really missed Bachi. I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me now.
Well, it went off for a second. I don't even know if I'm still live. So, but yeah, it went off. Like your voice just went off for a second.
Okay, very strange.
I can hear it through Dom's mic.
Dom's mic's a mile away, so it won't be through that one.
Okay.
And it's got new batteries as well. We'll have a look at it in the next one. That's really strange. I'm wondering what's causing that.
Pizza delivery.
Pizza
What did you get
delivery.
delivered?
It's too early for pizza delivery. It's only
Hey, can I just talk about the last pizza delivery that when I was with Dom and Keith? So here we go. It's a story.
It's a
that'll
great
give you a
story.
minute to get your mic going. I have a video. In fact, I'll share with you if you want to put it up there somewhere. Okay, so we're in Sydney Harbour. It was for AusJam, which is the Australian convention organised by Qualitex. Amazing convention. Unfortunately, it's put on hold right now because of everything going on, but it'll be back. So here we were. The boys came over to teach us Australians, and I organised a boat trip for us. So we hired a boat and took them out. Best day ever, guys. We really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And what you do in Sydney Harbour, we know how to live the life. In Sydney Harbour, like as an example, there's a guy that drives a boat and delivers coffee. All right, he's got an espresso machine on the water. It's so Sydney. But we ordered Uber Eats to a specific. I thought it was a wharf, like a jetty.
Yeah, it wasn't.
But it wasn't. I hadn't been to one before, and this boat was big enough you couldn't really beach it. So, so we got this pizza delivery to this beach, and there's like a fenced off like shark net. Yes, we have sharks in Sydney Harbour. Thinking of you, Colin Stewart. That's another story. But we got there and we had no idea how. I was going to offer to jump on, but I was trying to skip this thing. And so Dom, God bless him, he got into which I swear it was his under trousers, if you even want to call it that. He thinks they're board shorts. They were swimmers, but they looked like there was nothing else going on.
Listen, there was pizza
we got
on the
Zoe
go.
board. So, yeah. And so the pizza delivery guy got there. He had no idea. We're calling him, and he's like, "What am I going to do?" And these two people, like in bikinis and whatever, like accepted the order on our behalf, which no one would do today. And here's Dom, like on this wooden beam that's supporting the shark net, right? With his like, I in my mind, his under trousers like had the UK flag on it. It probably doesn't, but it just does in my head from the memory of this story, or some politics thing. And here he is like wobbling around. And he's nearly getting in there, and he got the pizza. God bless him. These like some pretty good looking woman in a bikini passed him this pizza, half in the water, and Dom very graciously accepted and walked back. And we filmed this thing, and it was just the funniest moment of that whole trip.
I do recall.
I
recall.
What's going to say is
you threatening.
Yeah, you threatened Chris to leave Dom on the side of the net.
Yeah.
However, Dom
he had pizza
and your phone.
He also had your phone.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yeah. Well, you'd be right, man. You'd be right.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what you need to do as well is that Zoe was saying that she wants to post the photo because she was there on the day and she has the photo. If you post the photo,
that was the first time we met Zoe as well.
Yeah, it was.
That's her card.
Please post the photo on Facebook with the hashtag Q Corner Convention, and it means that we'll find it in there. People can find it by doing a search on the hashtag Q Corner Convention.
So good. All right, your mic's good now, man. I got no problem with that microphone now. So
thank you very much. Then I'm allowed to move on. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, kick me out of here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again, Chris. Thanks very much
Cheers,
for your
Chris.
time.
Much appreciated. Bye, buddy.